This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be responding to another subscriber, Gary Ront, Tesla, Einstein, Da Vinci, please. I don't know if we can find interviews on Da Vinci. I'm going to guess he's the NTP. I'm going to try to work my magic on Einstein, and I'll check for Tesla if they have anything. But we're going to try to work the magic on Einstein today. But like I said, word on the street is every time Mongolian Mindset drops a video, we send a motherfucker to the psychiatric ward. We are the red pill of typology. We're going to just give you the facts here. So, like I said, earlier videos, Mongolian Mindset isn't just about me. It's about everybody that's in the group. It's about every one of our subscribers. We're going to be transcending to great things. So go ahead and join us. We have our monthly call tomorrow. We'd love to see you guys on there. We talk about our goals that we accomplished last month and the goals that we're accomplishing the following month. So yeah, let's do that. But personality database, our sworn enemy, who we believe is now the Clown Brigade, has Albert Einstein as an INTP. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, it sounds pretty accurate. I'm not even gonna play with you on this one. They got it with 2,030 votes. I don't know how you can fuck this one up, but let's go watch the interviews and let's see what's going on here. Okay, wait, before we get in that, the chart. So, for you guys who are working on your typing skills, INTPs are responding, informative, abstract, pragmatic, outcome focused, did we say systematic? Systematic, TIFE, and NESI, okay? That's what they are. So, let's go see if we can prove that.
And so I want to thank you on behalf of all of our listeners for coming here today. I'm sure that what you have to say will be of real interest.
So one thing I can say about
service to your new
about INTPs is like SC Trixie, you could usually spot it most of the times with the hair, clothes, something like that. They're just not on planet Earth. They're just in any land somewhere. You can usually see that with INFPs. You can see it with INTPs as well.
Country. It is clear to me that it was a self-evident duty to accept this invitation. Though I must tell you that I do not think words alone will solve humanity's present problems. The sound of bombs drowns out man's voices. In ordinary times of peace, I have great faith in the communication of ideas between thinking men. But today I am afraid the intellectual way to appeal to man is fast becoming of little avail with broad.
Okay, so that I guess is Albert Einstein, and yeah, he's informative. Okay, we can easily tell that he's informative. I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Dominating so many millions' lives.
This morning, Dr. Einstein, I was privileged to be present while you took your final examination for American citizenship. Will you tell us why you, who are international in your outlook and by virtue of your scientific interests, prefer to live in America rather than in any other country?
7 years ago, Mr. Timok, when asked for the reason why I have given up my position in Germany, I made this statement. As long as I have any choice, I will only stay in a country where political liberty, toleration, and equality of all citizens before the law is
so he's talking about equality for all citizens, so it's more an FE approach.
The rule. Political liberty implies liberty to express one's political opinion orally and in writing, and a tolerant respect for any and every individual opinion.
That is real American doctrine. But tell me, do you feel that America still fulfills the requirements you mentioned as a place in which to live?
Yes, Mr. Timok. Making allowance for human imperfections, I do feel that in America the most valuable thing in life is possible. The development of the individual and his creative power. There may be men who can live without political rights, and without opportunity of free individual development. But I think that this is intolerable for most Americans.
But I think, I'm just going to put that for TI, it's hard to follow him.
Here, for generations, men have never been under the humiliating necessity of unquestioning obedience. Here, human dignity has been developed to such a point that it would be impossible for people to endure life under a system in which the individual is only a slave of the state and has no voice in his government and no decision on his own way of life.
I agree with you, Dr. Einstein. We simply will not be driven about like sheep. We are independent. We are self-reliant. We do not know what it means to be deferential to class or position. Fortunately for us, obey is a little heard word, and cooperate is a common one.
Yes, I think from what I have seen of Americans since I have come here, they are not suited by
100% this guy's informative, okay? I'm not even gonna play that game.
Temperament or tradition for existence under a totalitarian system. I think that
That's the second time he's mentioned systems. Okay, I'm just going to put 2 points down for systematic.
of them would not find life worth living so. Therefore, it is very important that they consider how these liberties that are so necessary to them may be preserved and defended. I am glad to hear you say that Americans can cooperate because nothing truly valuable can be achieved except by the unselfish cooperation of many individuals.
He's talking about cooperation of everybody to get an outcome, so I'm going to put that down for outcome there. Damn, it's hard to understand him.
Dr. Einstein, you are a scientist and must regard scientific progress as one of man's highest achievements. And yet it seems to many people nowadays that science and invention have brought human beings more trouble than good. Technological unemployment, international quarrels for the raw materials of industry, and finally the weapons of mechanized warfare. How do you think the discoveries of science might be turned from man's own destruction to his advantage?
Science has provided the possibility of liberation for human beings from hard labor. But science itself is not a liberator. It creates means, not goals. Man should use them for reasonable goals. When the ideals of humanity are war and conquest, those tools become as dangerous as a razor in the hands of a child of 3. We must not condemn man's inventiveness and patient conquest of the forces of nature because they are being used wrongly and destructively now. The fate of humanity is...
I'm pretty sure he was going abstract there. He was talking about nature and everything.
Entirely dependent upon its moral development.
I have often wondered why it was that leaders in science and culture had so little influence on the course of political events. What is your opinion in that matter?
I think it is quite understandable.
He's going off his own thinking here. That's TI again, I think.
And artists, through their works, frequently have had enduring influence even in the realm of politics. But in order to influence the course of political events directly, one must also have the gift to influence people.
Okay, so he's talking about an outcome there to influence something. Couldn't make it out 100% what he said, but he's talking about to get like an outcome there. You have to do something. So I'm put the outcome down again. Jesus Christ, you guys. Hey man, you're killing me for this video here, man.
Action directly.
See,
this is rather
he's talking about the outcome there to get an
matter
outcome.
Of arousing and using emotions and personal confidence than of clear understanding of causal connections. For this reason,
Alright, connection. I'm gonna put FE.
Intellectuals have little chance to impress an audience. Also, they usually do not have the gift to make decisions swiftly. Among the outstanding American statesmen, Woodrow Wilson is perhaps the truest example of the intellectual type. But he too did not seem to have mastered the art of dealing with math. His greatest achievement...
If you don't think this guy's informative, you're smoking crack.
The League of Nations appears today as a failure on superficial observation.
The League of Nations is a failure, that's an outcome.
But, in spite of the mutilation of his contemporaries and the boycott of his fellow countrymen, Wilson's work, in my opinion, will be recreated in a
T.I.
more powerful force. Then only will the importance of this great innovator be fully recognized.
What hope have you, Dr. Einstein, that another League of Nations could prevail in a nationalistic world with its unevenly distributed resources and its unsettled economic conditions?
I am convinced that a federal organization of the nations of the world is not only possible, but even an absolute necessity of the conditions if the conditions of our planet are not to become unbearable for man.
Let's not come again. The League of Nations need to be here so conditions don't become unbearable for men. That's the outcome again.
Failed because its members were not willing to give up a part of their rights of sovereignty, and because the League was without any executive power. A world organization cannot ensure peace effectively unless it has control over the whole military power of its members.
Okay, so basically they can't do anything if they don't have any military power. That's the outcome again. So he's informative. We got an informative outcome on this guy, on Albert Einstein. As hard as this is, he's an informative outcome. So that means he's background. That means he's ISFJ, ISFP, INTP, and INFP. 100% right there with him being informative and outcome focused. So that means he's looking at an end product or product in general. And background types usually want the best possible product. That's what they're looking for. And we're going to keep going here. We're going to try to close him out here. But, yeah. He's looking like a TI user, so we'll be down to ISFJ and INTP. And the only thing we'll be looking for is abstract versus abstract versus pragmatic. If he's abstract pragmatic, that means he's INTP. If he's affiliative and concrete, he's ISFJ. We know Albert Einstein's abstract, but let's keep going.
Exaggerated nationalism is an artificially created emotional state resulting from the necessity to be prepared for war. This exaggerated nationalism would quickly disappear with the elimination of the war danger.
Okay, so you're talking about the elimination of somebody else, that's another outcome. It's more outcome.
I do not believe that the unequal geographical distribution of raw materials must necessarily lead to war. As long as a nation has access to the materials which are necessary for its development, it can very well prosper. This is clearly shown by nations such as Switzerland, Finland, Denmark, and Norway, which belonged to the most prosperous countries of Europe before the war. One of the most important functions of such an international organization would be to secure unhampered distribution of the raw materials and free access to markets. The solution of the
That's more outcome there.
Internal economical and social problems could be left largely to the individual states.
I cannot help but wonder if this statement is not a bit too optimistic. Can one strive towards an international order founded on justice, while on the other side of the Atlantic, brute force is strangling one democratic nation after the other?
I am far from being optimistic. What I have told you is not a prophecy, but a statement of what must be done to prevent life on this earth from
What
becoming
must be done to prevent life on this earth? That's outcome again. He's out there. An outcome.
Everybody will agree that we are now farther removed from this goal than seemed to be the case 10 years ago. This setback could have been avoided if the democracies had then shown the same solidarity and readiness for sacrifice they have shown now in this hour of great emergency. Will to sacrifice, solidarity and wise foresight, however, are most effective before the hour of dire necessity has arrived. May our America be spared such an hour through the resolute action of her citizens and statesmen.
You have great faith in your chosen country, Dr. Einstein. I hope we may be worthy of it through all our acts and decisions and attitudes during these trying times when emotions often deprive men of ability to see things clearly. I believe that most Americans act like Americans. By that I...
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay.
People so maliciously persecuted must not be underestimated. To leave these victims to their misery would be a heavy blow to all those who believe in human solidarity and would encourage those who believe only in force and oppression and who act accordingly.
Soul on you consciously self.
Alright, so
And energy are both that mass and energy
okay, so theory
are both.
theory is abstract, obviously. It's talking about the theory of relativity. Like talking about the theory of relativity, that's abstract, obviously.
That mass and energy are both but different manifestations of the same thing. A somewhat unfamiliar conception for the average mind. Furthermore, the equation E is equal mc squared, in which energy is put equal to mass multiplied with the square of the velocity of light, showed that very small amount of mass may be converted into a very large amount of energy, and vice versa. The mass and energy were in fact equivalent, according to the formula mentioned above. This was demonstrated by Kokra and Walton in 1930.
Okay, so that's all abstract there. Okay, so we're done. Yeah, he's an INTP. We just wanted to make sure he's informative. We can house the tail. He's outcomes, looking at the end product, and he's abstract. He's a TIFE user. He's referring to his own thinking several times. He doesn't refer to outside thinking as much unless he verifies them. Yeah, and he's abstract. So we got Albert Einstein as an INTP with what little stuff we could use. It's pretty obvious. I mean, it's got SE Trickster here. This is all SE Trickster here. But yeah, let's go back to the chart. Personality database actually got this one correct. INTPs, responding, outcome, pragmatic, which means they're rebellious. They are systematic, TIFE, NE, SI. So, yeah, we're done.